The storm rolled in just as the ferry docked. Rain swept across the bay, drenching everything in gray. A lone woman stepped off, her boots echoing against the slick wooden planks. To most, she looked like a traveler, worn leather jacket, duffel bag over her shoulder, head low against the wind. But her eyes carried purpose. She walked straight toward the naval checkpoint like she belonged there. The sign above read Naval Base Coronado, home of the U.S. Navy SEALs. Guards at the gate stiffened the moment they saw her approach. Civilians didn't just stroll into Coronado. "Ma'am, stop right there," one of the guards ordered. She didn't stop. Calmly, she reached into her jacket, pulled out a weathered military ID, and handed it over. The guard frowned. "Lieutenant Alexandra Hale," he read aloud. Then his brow furrowed. "This ID expired 3 years ago. You can't use this." Before she could answer, 2 military police officers stepped out from behind the barrier. "Hands where we can see them," one barked. She raised them slowly, no resistance, no panic, just quiet acceptance. "Alexandra Hale," the MP said, scanning her face. "You're under arrest for impersonating a Navy SEAL. You have the right to remain silent." She didn't say a word as they cuffed her hands. Rain dripped from her hair, but her expression remained steady, almost relieved. Inside the interrogation room, fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. The air was cold, sterile, and smelled faintly of bleach. Across from her sat Commander Briggs, 30 years in the Navy and skeptical of everything. "So you're claiming you were a SEAL?" he asked, leaning forward. "We've checked every record. There's no female SEAL named Alexandra Hale in your supposed service years. None." She kept her gaze level. "That's because the records you're looking for are above your clearance." Briggs chuckled. "Convenient excuse. You know how many people come through here claiming to be something they're not? They read a few books, memorized the lingo, maybe get a tattoo they found online." He smirked. "You're good, I'll give you that, but you're not convincing me." She didn't respond. Her silence made him uncomfortable. After a long pause, Briggs sighed and stood. "All right, Lieutenant, or whatever you are. You're going to federal custody until we sort this out." He motioned to the MPs. They stepped forward, but before they could move her, the door opened. A man in a crisp uniform entered, his presence filling the room instantly. Admiral Robert Kane. Briggs shot up to attention. "Sir, this woman at ease," Kane said, eyes locked on her. "Remove the cuffs." "Sir, with all due respect, she's due it." The MPs exchanged a look, then obeyed. The cuffs clicked open. Kane stepped closer, circling her slowly. "Roll up your left sleeve," he said. She hesitated for a moment, then did as ordered. The room went still. There, inked into her skin, was a trident tattoo, but not a standard SEAL insignia. It was a unique, secret variant. A mark known only to members of a covert unit that technically didn't exist. Kane's eyes darkened as he looked closer. Then, quietly, he said the words that froze everyone in the room. "That tattoo's authentic." Briggs blinked, confused. "Sir, what do you mean?" Kane straightened. "I mean, this woman isn't impersonating anyone. She's exactly who she says she is. Her name hadn't always been Alexandra Hale. Once, she was just Alex. A 19-year-old kid from Detroit who joined the Navy to escape the streets. She had grit, instincts, and an iron will that caught the right attention. She was handpicked for a black-budget initiative called Project Sentinel, an experimental SEAL program testing operatives who didn't fit the mold. No records. No public acknowledgement. Only ghosts and results. Alex proved herself again and again until a mission went wrong. A covert op overseas. Extraction failed. 2 teammates killed. She barely survived. When she woke up in a military hospital, they told her she was dead to the world. Her file erased. Her name wiped. Her service never existed. Kane dismissed Briggs and sat across from her. "I thought you'd never come back," he said quietly. "I wouldn't have," she replied, "if I had a choice." "What happened?" "One of ours didn't die that night," she said. "He was captured, and I've found proof he's still alive." Kane's jaw tightened. "That's impossible." The report was fabricated, she interrupted. He's being held in a black site. I can't reach him alone. I need your help. Kane studied her face. For years, he had buried Project Sentinel under layers of secrecy. But seeing her standing there, alive, changed everything. Why now? He asked. Because time's running out, she said. If we don't move soon, he dies. And the intel he carries could compromise every SEAL team in active service. Kane nodded slowly. You'll have your team. By nightfall, a military transport jet roared over the Pacific. 3 trusted operatives joined her, men who didn't ask questions, only loaded their rifles and checked their gear. Alex briefed them mid-flight, her voice steady, her presence commanding. For the first time in years, she wasn't a ghost. She was a leader again. Their plan: Halo, jump into enemy territory, extract the prisoner, be gone in 20 minutes. The jump was flawless. The night swallowed them whole. They moved through jungle and mud, silent as shadows. At the compound, Alex took point. She disabled cameras, cut wires, neutralized guards. Every motion was pure muscle memory. Then came the faint click of a rifle bolt. A guard rounded the corner and Alex moved before he could blink. A silent takedown. One less problem. They reached the cell. Inside, bruised but breathing, was Chief Petty Officer Mason Graves, the missing man. Alex, he whispered, barely believing it. No time, she said, cutting his restraints. We're getting you out. The alarm blared before they reached the exit. Floodlights lit up the compound. Gunfire erupted. Alex was hit a graze along her shoulder, but she kept moving, her team covering her as they fought through waves of enemies. By the time the extraction chopper lifted off, the compound below was engulfed in fire. Mason leaned against her, exhausted. Didn't think you'd come, he said weakly. You would have done the same, she answered. Back at Coronado, there was no report, no debrief. The mission never happened. As she stood at the dock preparing to vanish again, Admiral Kane approached. You know, he said I could make it official this time. Reinstate you. She smiled faintly. The world's not ready for an official me. Kane handed her a small box. Inside was a golden seal trident. No records, he said. But this says what the files never could. She closed the box, nodded once, and walked toward the ferry as rain began to fall again. Some heroes don't need recognition, only remembrance. This is Soldier's legacy, where untold stories of courage, sacrifice, and silence live on. If this story moved you, comment and subscribe to Soldier's Legacy